Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be the first of what I'm planning to be monthly relationship readings. So this is being recorded for July 28th through August 27th, 2021. But that's not necessarily when people are going to hit these energies. This is drawing from the collective. I'm doing, I don't even know what this one is called. This is my regular relationship reading. The other one that I have specifically is Twin Flame, and there's the Yin Yang relationship check-in, which is sort of describing two opposites. It doesn't have to be relationship. And then the triptych door can also describe what's going on in a relationship. But this is a look at the higher self and the behavior in the 3D related to two people in some kind of I heard embroiled in some sort of romantically inclined soul connection. And again, this is for the collective. I've previously done romantic readings intermittently, but I feel like once a month is like full on, like plenty. Sometimes relationship stuff will come up in the astrological readings anyway. And since those are going to be coming out every week, you can sort of watch those and see if there's anything going on that week, no matter what element it's for. Because, I mean, even if you don't have that element, right? Like if I just did fire signs, if you don't have a fire sign in your sun, moon, or rising, maybe you can cross-watch for someone who does, or you're going to be experiencing those energies flaring up anyway. So if you want to watch something weekly, you can always check out the other horoscope videos. This is sort of an alternate to a horoscope video, right? It's like we do like 4 horoscope readings in 1 month, and then on the 5th week, it's the relationship one. So that's what this is. This is a reading that I offer. I don't remember how much I made it cost, but the description's going to be in the description. The description's in the description. In the description box underneath the video, right down in there. The list of readings that I offer and how much they cost is going to be right down there. If you scroll down far enough, it'll be there. I think that's it. All of a sudden my throat is sore. I don't know how that is. Like the very second I go to start talking. So, I think I was going to take some more Robitussin and I forgot. Whatever. So the way that this reading works is, normally it would be like for you and your person, but the way that I normally see it, this is the masculine energy and this is the feminine energy. Everybody has some of both, so it's, you know, whichever shoe fits, that's the one you're going to wear. But I might accidentally just keep calling this one the masculine, unless the cards just like, pull it in the other direction entirely, because people can switch. Normally not halfway through a reading, but for the purposes of this reading, this is probably going to be the masculine and probably the feminine, because if I don't do that, it's just going to get confusing. So this is the 5D, the higher self, basically. It could also be goals. These ones are the 3D. I like to use playing cards for 3D a lot of the time. When I do roadblock moguls, I like to use the Uno cards for the 5D. But this is a blended deck of Tim Burton cards and historical fashion. I do have this focus to about here. Oh, this one isn't even in. There's a whole nother row over here. You can see them. Let me move this down. I didn't realize I didn't have that in the camera very well. This is my cameraman is not trained very well. And also my cameraman is me. Okay, there, now you can see more of it. I've got these kind of crunched up because I don't have enough room on my table. So I'm gonna focus back to where I need it to be focused to. I'm gonna focus it here. Right along the crack in my table because it's expandable, but I don't have enough room in my room to put the leaf in it, so the leaf is in the closet. Okay. Come on. Come on, Naphthol Crimson, don't fail me now. Whatever. Okay. Okay, so this is the 3D, this is the 5D, the higher self, the goals, this is the 3D, this is behavior. Also, this is the Syrian Starseed Tarot. And then this is the other person, right? Masculine, feminine, whatever. And then this is the interaction so far. And then these other cards down here, this is my Morgan Greer deck. These ones down here are sort of tell me a story. I got 3 cards. And it's about, like, what's the purpose of the relationship? More or less, like, what's the whole point? Like, what's the whole point of it? Like, what's the karmic lesson? What's the book that we have to get for the syllabus? That kind of thing. This card is for advice, and usually this reading's supposed to have 1 card, but I was steered very strongly in the direction of pulling some cards out of my phrase deck, so I've got a few of those. There's like, what is it, 4 of them in there right now? This is a Lucy Cavendish Blessed Bee deck. So whenever I grab decks to do a reading, I usually look through my stacks and pick them out ahead of time based on like which ones I see in my head. Sometimes it's a specific card. Other times I just see the back of the deck. The way that this upper section of the reading is arranged is also according to the suits. So there's, even though they're crunched up, you can see it a little bit easier here. There's a row for wands, a row for cups, a row for swords, and a row for pentacles. And that has to do with, like, which aspects are you dealing with in your body. Oh, sorry, it's late. I had to yawn a little bit. The wands is usually coming out of the, usually centered in the solar chakra. It's like the modus operandi, the goal in life, that kind of stuff. And cups is usually emotions, but it also has to do with resonance and waves, like signals coming in, so psychic stuff, downloads, synchronicity, and stuff like that. It's also cups. Wands also has to do with instinct, like your gut feeling, right? The energy center, the body's power plant in the gut. And the cups are centered in the heart. Swords is the throat chakra. It's not just about communication. It's also about perception and discernment. Right? It's like, oh, this like this is the message is coming in, and then this is, we're decoding it. And then pentacles is the physical body, could be health. But it could also be resources, which could be like literally energy, like the mitochondrial powerhouse of the cell, or it could be money and minerals and food and stuff like that. My throat is all raw. I gotta get something. This little winged mermaid wanted to come back over from the shelf. Put that over here. Okay. Oh, I didn't even start the reading yet. Okay. So that was explaining everything. So let's look at this reading. I'm just going to say this is the masculine for now. I'll do the whole thing? Yeah, I'll do the whole thing and then I'll do... Sometimes I do it across the rows, but I think I want to do it this way. And for some reason I end up usually doing the masculine first, but whatever. And again, you know, whichever pair of shoes fits, put that on. So we have reflection. I wanted to say that this is... When I flipped this over, it made me think of... Is that in this deck? I wanted to say that this was the Emperor, but it wasn't. This is the Hermit. So this card is called Reflection in this deck. Cards are huge even after I trim them. Mercurial Energy, Virgo. In... Ooh, I just moved the camera too. In the solar chakra region. It's like, what is your... It's like, what is your life purpose? What is your goal? The masculine is working on self-reflection. And I'm also getting like a little bit like look before you leap. Although in some people's cases it's like, are you gonna look or are you gonna buy? That kind of a thing. Like let me think it over. Well, like, you know, we close in 5 minutes, so you better think a little faster. Number 9. Makes me think of Life Path 9. I think I'm a Life Path 9. But, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but, even if the masculine in this relationship isn't a Life Path 9, for some reason, that needs to be looked up because it's it's like a shadow aspect. There's like something going on right now, or like in the next month, because this reading is supposed to be for essentially the next month from when it drops. It's the normal framework of a Life Path 9 person is in effect for this masculine. So in the cups for this 5D energy, the oversoul, the higher self, let's put it that way, Master of Chalices, which is the King of Cups, but it's inverted. Look at these eyes. It's giving me like the Moon and Pisces at the same time. But because it's coming in inverted, it's like, what's missing? Scorpionic energy. Let's going in the dunk tank. Unbalanced emotional issues. Right? It's like looking at your emotional baggage in a store window. You know, like bringing... It's like walking through the dungeon with a light this time instead of just sort of swimming in the dark. Like, oh, what's all this crap in here? I just heard clouded perception. There's something that was going on for me personally that had to do... Oh, I just moved the camera again. That had to do with like a haze, like a smoke, like a fog, cloudiness in terms of perception. And it wasn't exactly the same, but it made me think of the movie The Shadow, where the main thing in that was the clouded mind sees nothing. It was like illusory, right? It was like a hypnotizing. And here it's like it's a little bit like you can't hypnotize yourself into having emotions balanced if you haven't reflected upon them. And even that reflection, what is this? It's a reflection in the water of something that's being seen. But here it's not with the third eye, it's with the two normal eyes of vision. Right? It's the reflection of the hermit is more of an inner eye thing. It's focusing the third eye inward down into the self. Here it's going all the way down to the gut, to the going into the core reactor of the spaceship, like to repair it or something. But this reflection, there's like a, it's, I want to say mirroring, but it isn't like that. I totally fell off the train of thought, so I'm just gonna move on to the next card. Okay, so this is in the swords area, the throat of the higher self of the masculine. We have a 7 of crystals. So this is the 7 of pentacles. I'm always intrigued with this deck because there's a tower looming in the background. King is a 14, that's a 1 or a 5, but it's inverted, so there could be a shift or a pivot there. But it's like this is like a submarine. Like, exploring trenches, these two cards together. The 7 of crystals is normally about like harvesting and building and measured growth. When it's inverted, it can be about impatience. And I feel like it's almost like, in my opinion of myself, is that I'm patient. Like I'm on time. But this mirror thing makes me think of Through the Looking Glass, Alice in Wonderland. Especially with that white rabbit, I'm late for a very important date. Poor Alice when she was just small. But what does the 7 of Pentacles have to do with swords energy, with the throat chakra? I just got a little bit of I'm not telling anybody my plans. Ooh. 7 indicates movement. There's something going on under the surface. And again, when I said these two cards are like a submarine exploring the trenches, that there's something going on under the surface that's not to fruition yet, that's not being spoken about. What is 7? 16, that makes the Tower. This would make the Hangman, which is Neptunian energy. Okay, I gotta change this. It was so very polite of my camera, of the battery, not to die until my segment was over, so that was pleasant. Usually they're at odds with each other and trying to screw me up. Okay. 7 of Pentacles, just in terms of energy. Saturn in Taurus. Oh, that's right, because Saturn's in Aquarius. And Uranus is in Taurus. Alright, whatever. Okay, so in the body, there's this card, Guidance. Speaking of Taurus, this is the Hierophant in this deck. Guidance. So there's a Buddha. I don't know if that's actually Buddha or if it's just a Bodhisattva. It's been a while since I had Art of the Far East in college, and I tend to forget which one is which. Some sort of at least a bodhisattva in front of the Sphinx, but it's inverted. So I have 2 5s inverted here, which is 10, which is some kind of completion. Okay, I know why. There's like a physical, there's a lack of faith in manifesting in the physical world. Right? I'm thinking about dropping something into the physical pentacles, but my faith related to the Taurus energy, the material world, is hung up. But the key to turning this whole, I was trying to say ship, but my brain said bitch, turning this bitch around, is this hermit energy. But again, it's like, it's like a little bit of like shit or get off the pot. It's like, are you going to psych yourself out, or are you going to reach out into universal timing? There's also this idea that with the pentacle center inverted, there's a lack of grounding. Right? I'm in the core reactor, but I need to go all the way down to the sub-basement and make sure that my plans start to take root. Even this stick up here, I know it's an antler, but it looks like an upended root. And it's came out in another reading I did, and it came out in something that was going on for me personally, that there's an idea of like torn up roots that need to be like gently replanted elsewhere. There's something like the idea is that if you plant something in a different soil, the soil has a different energy. It can ground in a different energy and expand. Right? If the resonance causes if the soil that it's in causes too much of an interference pattern and breaks up the waveform, the thing isn't going to grow, it's going to shrivel up. Like when people scream obscenities at water molecules, they just kind of dissolve. This idea of faith is, I feel insecure because of lack of grounding. It could also be that with a Taurus card inverted, it could, is in a physical area, like Pentacles energy overall, the 3D world. It could be a propensity towards hedonism, right? Stuff, excess, just to fill that void, right? It's like, oh, well, if my sub-basement is full of all this decadence, then that means that it's full and I'm grounded. But there's only so much you can do throwing the weight around that it's gonna actually do what you want it to. Hopefully that makes sense. These cards aren't even in the frickin' frame. Whatever. Trying here. At least I held them up. That's a little better. So I don't think I want to do the 3D yet. Or do I? I mean, this is sort of the issues that are being worked on in the higher self. This here is the behavior. How is it played out in the physical, right? It's like, here's the script. Here's this play, right? We've given the script to 4 different production companies. We gave it to Broadway, we gave it to Off-Broadway, we gave it to nomadic theater troupe, and we gave it to a high school. And the 3D is the behavior. That's how it's acted out. Right? This is, you know, like one person's 3D is like, this is the Tempest. And then the other person's 3D is, what's her name? Julie Taymor is the Tempest, and now the main character is Helen Mirren instead of this other, some random old guy. That's how it plays out in the 3D, these energy patterns. Like, how are you interpreting the script of your higher self? All right, what's your bag, baby? Thinking about manifestation, but not having the faith to do so. Emotional overwhelm. Emotional overwhelm. But why is the Hermit doing in the Sun Center? Earth energy. Again with the Earth energy. Underground. This is like resolving somebody that's been persecuted. Like either earlier, like as a soul to resolve like a shriveling from the world because of prior persecution. And it could be a past life thing, but it could also be something from earlier in this life. Or with this Hermit card here, it could be the inner child. Okay. So before I do the feminine energy side, I think I do want to look at the behavior. How is this play being performed by the masculine in the 3D? So let's look at the wands here. 7 of Swords. Upright. The moon in Aquarius, right? Hmm? Yeah, we just had the moon in Aquarius. This is the like a thief energy. It's like it's supposed to be a 9, at least on a lower vibration, but it's a 7. But notice there was a 7 here. The 7 indicates something is moving, but here it's sort of, again, this is like, this was underground, and this is like sneaking through the night. Right, ninja energy. And it might not necessarily be I'm stealing something, but it's sort of like I have to steal time for my own thoughts. I have to, you know, like I don't even want to be underground, I want to be invisible. Right, I want to be silent in the night. In order to move at all. So there's a gut instinct to be secretive. In the Cups, it's the Ace of Cups. There's a duality here. It's like, oh, I just made weird, gross mouth smacky sounds by accident. I'm sorry, that was not supposed to be that close to the camera. Totally unnecessary sounds, too. This is kind of mirrored as well. Oh, I just got practicing what I'm going to say in the mirror again, which is something I got, I think, the last time I tried to do some kind of a love reading. it's weird because it goes from the king inverted to the ace. It's like the manifestation is like lover boy. Like I seek out relationships, or I seek out, like I'm centered on my emotional truth, which is probably why they're scampering around in their Spidey suit at night. It's like they're dead set on overcoming this emotional imbalance with like a heat-seeking emotional missile. But it's like I have to be sneaky about it in some way. I just keep moving the camera. Maybe if I take it off of my cheat sheet, I'll stop moving it around. There we go. Alright. So, we're looking at swords. The Ace of Swords. What the hell? And the pair of aces. I'm gonna see what this is before I even read any further. I was gonna say, if it's another ace, I'm gonna crap my pants. Okay, so now we have the King of Swords inverted in the physical realm. This is like... my communication is either harsh, right, because the physical manifestation of thoughts, I'm writing to people, right, texting, writing, social media, email, letters, I left you a sticky note on the table. Physical manifestation of communication, out of balance. But there's a kind of a shift, a pivot trying to happen. This like trying to get a stuck wheel loose. But I have a 5 here, 14 breaking out of 5, inverted where there's a 5 inverted here. Seeking the ultimate truth in mind and heart. And I think this idea of I have to be sneaky about it means that he speak with forked tongue in real life. You know, because if people find out what he's really on about, it will never come to fruition. Right? If I tell you what I want, what I really, really want, he'll never get that zigga zigga. It's like the Holy Grail right in the middle of the 3D reading, surrounded by like the clanging of pots and pans that makes you run in the other direction. It's weird. Alright, so let's look at what the feminine energy is doing. God forbid it's okay. So feminine energy is higher self, 5D, goals, and so on in the wands. We have the Seeker of Orbs. Seeker of Orbs. Okay. This is the Page of Swords. Inverted. That's an 11 or a 1 coming in inverted. Swords energy. I've assigned the Page of Swords Uranus energy. Give me a retrograde. I don't think it's retrograde right now, though. It's kind of like avoidance. It's not really of the truth, though. It's like I'm afraid of my own thoughts. Like, what if my worst fears come true? This is like psyching yourself out before you even really get going. This is like overthinking. This is thinking yourself into a corner. In the heart, we have the Three of Flames inverted. The Sun in Aries. With the Sun card inverted, though, it tells me moon energy, which is cups. It's water. It's like cups energy by proxy. Three of Flames is usually like looking towards the future. This is like, I can't see what's coming, but the way I'm seeing it is I'm looking backwards. Emotionally looking backwards into the past, perhaps. I mean, you'd have to, if that's a timing thing. Pillar of Salt. In the Swords area, we have the Three of Chalices inverted. Now, the way that I usually read that the Nine of Swords and the Nine of Cups are sort of opposites of each other. Nine of Cups is a half moon that's a dream card. Nine of Swords is a half moon that's a nightmare card. And I don't always see it this way, but with this Three of Cups inverted, I'm seeing it wanting to be the Three of Swords. So I have Cups by proxy, and now I have Swords by proxy. So what it's really coming in is Mercury in Cancer, but it's inverted. It wants to be a retrograde. Now, Gemini is mercurial energy, and the North Node is retrograde as I'm doing this reading. That might be why that's coming in. But what it wants to be is Saturn in Libra. But it's not bringing in that energy, even though the Three of Swords has to do with an emotional wounding. Right? This isn't fun for me. You know, it's not all fun and games because, you know, I got trounced on. Right? Or it's coming in and with this overthinking, nobody likes me. Like I don't belong here. Like an outcast. Like, it's not gonna go my way. Nobody likes me. I just psyched myself out again. This isn't, it's like, it's not quit while you're ahead. It's, again, it's like quit before you get going. Like, what's the point if nobody's gonna, if everybody's gonna screw you over? This is like, thinking people are going to be too up in your business. This is thinking people don't even want your business. It's like two sides of the same coin. Okay. So in this Pentacles region, the feminine energy has the Seven of Orbs. So we have a Seven of Swords, like this guy up here. This is also upright, unless I flipped it over weird. So this guy up here in the air balloon is so busy collecting these ores, making sure he gets all of them, that he doesn't realize he's lost these other ones up here, and this person's like, hey, look, this guy's dropping these things all over the place. Like nail polish or something stuck on here. I'm seeing this as like a trail of breadcrumbs. Now, the way that this reading is supposed to be, it's sort of for the time... Oh, my fingernail's coming apart. It's sort of for the time of July 28th through August 27th. Which is a couple days after a full moon in Aquarius and the other full moon in Aquarius. And I don't think that's the only reason those two Seven of Swords cards are coming out, but what does it do if the Seven of Swords is sitting where your manifestation is? It's like, you know, I feel it's like imposter syndrome. I don't belong here. Right? I'm not going to fit in this place. Like, what? Like, right? I'm not cool enough for these people. I'm not fancy enough. That's what I'm getting with that. So let's see how this is manifesting in the 3D behavior of the feminine. So now I have the Eight of Swords upright. This is my I want to break free card. There's so many swords in here. It's like everybody's in their head. Like both of them in their head. It's like I'm trying to go higher. But I also feel trapped. You know, it's like I'm psyching myself up, but I know that's not right, and I'm trying to get out of it. And I do want to break free. So in the cups, I have Four of Cups upright. This is the apathy card. I'm trying to break out of this quit before I get started energy. Like, why bother? Everyone hates me. But it feels like, ugh. The interestingly enough, this is the Moon card. And last night, when it was the full moon Aquarius, I said Henlo Moon as a post. Because there's a moon in Aquarius and another moon in Aquarius. So we have two moons, essentially. It reminds me of Between Two Ferns. 8 and 4 is 12. It's like I'm trying to break it down, and it's just like, it feels like there's never going to be a breakthrough. It's like, you know, it's like, why should you try if you've put in 800% effort 42 times and it blew up in your face? Like, why would you try a 43rd time? And so this feminine is kind of, doesn't even want to look the higher realm in the hand anymore. You know, it's like Charlie Brown knows that the football is going to be swept out from under him, and he's like, you know what, Lucy? I'm not playing with you anymore. But it's like, this time, like the next time, he would have actually been able to kick the football. It's a terrible analogy, but this is how the feminine views it. It's like Lucy holding a football. I'm like, no thank you. Gives me indigestion. Okay, so in the swords, more air. This is the Nine of Swords. This is the Nightmare card, and it's inverted. This is like lucid dreaming, and I refuse. Seven, 8, 9. What's this? Pentacles and Pentacles, but it's the Jack inverted. This is a page. This is a page. This is a page. I'm having a hard time believing this nightmare is about to be over. I am hesitant to move forward doing anything in the material world. It's making me think, I think that Barbra Streisand with Barry Gibb Guilty album, there's a song called Promises. That's what this is making me think of. It's like, and in terms of relationship, it's like, am I going to believe that you're coming, or do I believe what's been coming out of your mouth or your text towards me? Like, yeah. 17 star energy, but I'm seeing the feminine energy is trying to progress through the swords energy with very little else, really. And the masculine energy also trying to progress through swords, but there's a lot more earth energy here. But it's like specifically saying this is ungrounded. This is sort of like I feel like I'm drifting through the air. I've got nowhere to land. Alright, so let's look at, what's this middle row supposed to be? The interaction so far. Okay. So the interaction between these two so far. So we have Wands, Two of Cups inverted, Venus in Cancer, so 3D Wands. You might have a gut feeling that there's a connection, but there hasn't been an emotional outpouring. And it's tweaking this situation out because, you know, it's like I feel it in my bones, but in my heart it feels like, you know, somebody spilled wine on me and ruined my suit. What a crap day. Sounds like giving me a little bit of like a standoff. Like nobody wants to do the olive branch thing. Like, it's your turn, I did it last time. It's like, no, I'm not allowed to. You have to do it. That kind of thing. But in the cups, we have the Knight of Cups. A little bit of, I gotta get a message to you. I was like, I'm out here on the field. Where are you at? It's like, well, I'm over on this field. Why aren't you here? You know, it's like the directions are off. Notice how the way this is going, though, the energy of the knight is facing towards the feminine from the masculine. It's like, I thought I was out here with the cup for you, but where are you? Right? He's got this Ace of Cups he wants to bring to the feminine. But he doesn't understand that if he went during the daytime, he might find her if he wasn't just creeping around at night in his little ninja outfit. So look at the swords energy between them. Three of Swords inverted. This is sort of mimicking this Three of Cups inverted. it's like communication wants to be no longer painful. This Two of Cups could also be coming in as like Two of Swords by proxy. You're not listening to my point of view. You're not seeing it from how it is for me. And this, like, this to me is like someone's got to swallow their pride a little bit. Whether it's fair or not. In order to release pain here. But it seems to be actively happening because this is what's going on thus far. Maybe this is saying this is a down payment on a karmic tie between these two. And it's saying you had to experience pain thus far and now the karma is being released. But again, it's like this like ships passing in the night thing. It's like you were supposed to come at like 3 in the afternoon, but you're creeping around here looking for me at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm not out here in the field at 2 in the morning. Like, what the hell, man? That's the kind of energy that it's giving me. So in Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles. Again, I have a Knight on the board that ends up coming from the masculine side towards the feminine side. So in the emotions with the emotional card, in the material with the material card, it's like, I'm going to start chunking towards you. It's like this Seven of Pentacles, this plan is saying like, hey, wait a minute. But it also feels like, it's like, I'm going to like, we're going to triangulate on you. But what ends up being created are these two cards. Three of Cups by proxy. Ooh. Oh. Gave their cup to someone else. Broke up with the karmic partner. Coming towards the feminine, maybe. Or vice versa. Went towards the karmic in real life. Detoured around the feminine. Even though emotionally going towards the feminine. Either way, whichever one is doing which, right? It's, and again I said triangulate, like a love triangle. So this is thus far. Like Ace of Cups towards the feminine at night. During the day, look at this daytime. Slowly making their way around Whore Island, apparently. Finding everyone but the feminine. Or just someone besides. Doesn't have to be a whole lot of people. Just one person they don't really love will suffice. Either way. The wedge between the masculine and the feminine is being pulled out like a bathtub drain. So what's this story? What am I doing? What's the purpose of this relationship? Okay, so we have King of Rods inverted. That's a King of Wands inverted. So now I've got 3 Kings inverted. We 3 Kings. Orient. 6 of Cups, that's ideal. Sunny day. innocence. And the Queen of Pentacles inverted. Now that's... Look at all this yellow energy. It's like going right back to the fact that the core of the thing is in a weird spot. Solar energy. It's like if the masculine stops trying to be authoritarian and the feminine thinks nothing's ever gonna grow, if she stops doing that, they can meet in a place of sort of nostalgic innocence. And it's not like, oh, we did this in a past life, or like we met when we were younger. What I'm seeing is I'm going to stop worrying about what everyone thinks of me. I'm going to stop worrying what everyone thinks of me. And we're just going to play like two children that don't have any cares in the world. There's an sort of like an innocence that's trying to be regained. Right? These people might be jaded at this point, either just in life in general or towards each other. And the whole point of the relationship is to overcome these distortions and return to, like, clear the slate. Until it's like fun and games again. This is the sun in Scorpio. This is like I'm radiating into the depths. Alright, so usually the advice card is like a wrap-up card. But I have these extra cards that I had to pull, which hopefully will give us some kind of message. But let's see what this blessing card is. A blessing on a homecoming, 44. So that's 4 times 11. Like possibly 4 times universal timing. I also see it as 4 and 4, like twice the emperor. Or twice a foundational number. But also breaks down to 8, which is strength. Which is normally a feminine, sort of caring for a wounded lion. Someone who has gotten strength from the act of being wounded. And is sort of being nurtured by, it's usually a young female energy. You know, like a maiden and a lion, that kind of thing. So, but here we have this feminine on here with a double energy of masculine. Blessing on a homecoming. Again, this is like, it gives me this energy. It looks like this is the feminine waiting for the masculine to get there. And he's like, hang on a minute. Hold on, I'm getting there. Because his energy is there. He's like double timing it. Like ooh, it reminds me of The Love and Spoonful, Darling Be Home Soon. I couldn't bear to wait an extra minute if you dawdled. It's not just these few hours, but I've been waiting since we toddled, little kids, toddlers, for the great relief of having you to talk to, which is all those swords. All right, that's Darling Be Home Soon by The Love and Spoonful. It's a really good song. Don't be home soon. Those are such clever lyrics. I'm glad I looked them up at some point. Okay, so let's look at these messages. I don't think I want to know what you did. At number 10, I feel like that relates back to this possible... I don't think I want to know what you did. What's that guy? Multiple frequencies of the Empress or High Priestess. High vibe, low vibe, or pseudonyms. Interesting. I'm going to put that with this. Because this is giving me 2 vibrations of the Emperor. Maybe the feminine is supposed to be a couple vibrations of the Empress or the High Priestess. Your reputation precedes you. This has to do with this stuff going on with the masculine. Right? People are trying to get into his business. He's got to sneak around. He doesn't want people asking what he's doing before he's done with it. You know, like, oh, are you with so-and-so? You love them? Yeah, I didn't think so. Typical, right? That kind of stuff. Unexpected and silent movement. That's this. Right? Sneak and tiptoe through the tulips kind of stuff over here. In disguise, hiding from persecution, hermit mode, and invisible. This is both of them in one card. In disguise, hermit mode. I'm invisible. Nobody sees me. But sort of also hiding from persecution. I'll get a couple more. This is a big shot. And I pulled those cards before I started reading. Did not see them. I'm melting as you hold me. That's this over here. Look at one of these other colors here. Whether you know it or not, you need their guidance. Guidance from the higher self. I guess another green one. There's a difference between knowing how to do it and actually doing it. Theory versus manifestation and concept versus work. That's the difference between having this sitting in the thought sector and having something like this actually come out in a pentacle sector. Right? That's like, just because you're thinking about it doesn't mean that you've actually done it. Like, I know how to go about having a relationship with somebody, but I actually have to, like, communicate with them. I actually have to, like, hey, I'm gonna visit you next week. Okay. Like, if you had said that, like, a year ago, you could have come a year ago. Or 2 weeks ago, or a month ago, or 10 years ago, however. Do I want to get any more of these? Probably not. Ooh, let me get this blue one. This blue one. Education of tradition of the past and the realities of the present. Huh. That must have been from my expansion. I don't remember writing that card. That's what this is like when I was talking about people being jaded, right? It's either like past life stuff or stuff earlier in this life. Could be from childhood. But it's like I'm understanding from a historical, professorial perspective. Right? I'm studying myself as if I'm learning history about myself. And the way that I'm reacting to the past might not reflect what's happening now, and should I perhaps set my focus and my behavior on what is happening and not what was happening. And we do see that throughout this reading. And it does have to do with being jaded to some extent. Oh, look at this. Okay, so this wanted to come back over. Oh, that was my elbow, sorry. Let me get this in here a little bit. I think I'm done pulling cards. Put this over here. Alright, get this. Okay. Okay, I guess we are reading this red card. A new view of reality, awareness of distortions. Wow, okay. That fits. Get this away from the fan so they don't keep blowing over on me. Where the hell? Alright. So this wanted to come over with me when I went to get a sip of water. Right, look at this. It's a mermaid with wings and this sort of serrated wheel, which could be the sun. The sun. This is sort of reconciling your gut feeling with having not matched with your behavior and or what's going on. Is that? I think it either... okay, there we go. Now I got her whole thing in focus. So it's a sun disk and wings and a mermaid. The mermaid to me is that cups energy, but it could also be... I was going to say it could be a little bit grounding because of like a person and people are terrestrial. But then the wings, it's very much alignment of the heart, the throat, and the solar center, which seems to be the issue here. Is they're like off resonance and the waveform kept getting destroyed. And that will bring about this card. The Sun in Scorpio. Okay. So that's it for this love reading. Hopefully that's useful to people. If you want to get a more personal one and not a reading for the collective, all of those things are downstairs in the description box. So if you find this helpful, if you have been entertained or intrigued in any way, consider donating. Energy Exchange tip jar, that's PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. I've got products and things for sale besides tarot readings. Merch, prints, art stuff. I have some paper charms like the ones that I use that you can print out from PDF format. I also have 2 already printed out ones on Etsy that you can get with some extra bonus stuff. I've got chapbook packs. It's like writing and little pictures and stuff. It's like a synchronicity stimulus. Those are on Etsy. It's basically like getting a few cards in a tarot reading. It's just miscellaneous writing and pictures and numbers and stuff. I've got coloring books, dark poetry. I already mentioned the merch and prints. I've got plushies. I got some of these guys. I've got a template for these too. So the charms, stuff like that. You gotta cut them out yourself. But I like them. They're useful. I also started using Scrabble tiles recently, so if I want to offer that to add to readings too, like with the charms, but I haven't made the change on my information yet. Because I've been doing a lot of work on another project. I think that's it. Yeah, so these love readings should be, unless I change my mind before next month, but should be out at the end of the month every month, at least for a while. I just felt really weird. Okay, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.